Welcome to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast, where we aim to help fellow veterinary rehab therapists increase their knowledge and elevate their practice. I'm Megan Kelly.
And I'm Ané Lloyd. Together, we bring you the latest insights, research, and information in the field of veterinary rehabilitation.
This podcast is brought to you by Onlinepethealth, a leading continuing education membership for veterinary rehabilitation therapists. With Onlinepethealth, you'll have access to a wide range of online resources to help you stay up to date with the latest techniques, advances, and trends in the industry.
Our podcast features in-depth conversations with leading experts in veterinary rehabilitation. They share their own experiences and knowledge to help you improve your practice. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out in the field, our goal is to provide you with the tools and the insights you need to succeed.
So join us as we explore the exciting world of veterinary rehabilitation and help you take your practice to the next level. Hey vet rehabbers, in this episode I sit down with Ané Lloyd, the mastermind behind all of our social media content at Onlinepethealth. So if you've ever wondered how we create so much engaging Instagram and Facebook Reels so consistently, you're in for a treat. Ané and I dive into why Reels are such a game changer for building your brand, your practice, your social media presence, attracting the right audience. And this is whether you're looking to grow your online presence, increase engagement, or even convert followers into clients. We'll also break down the process we use to create Reels efficiently, including how we plan and batch content to save time and avoid the overwhelm. And because we know most vet rehabbers are strapped for time, we're sharing our best time-saving tips so you can create high-quality content without spending hours glued to your phone. So now, whether you're new to Reels or looking to refine your strategy, this episode is packed with actionable advice to help you make the most of short-form video content. Because we're always about helping you simplify and streamline your business, we've also put together over 120 ready-to-use social media templates designed specifically for vet rehab practices. Now, these templates will save you time, keep your content looking professional, help you stay consistent with your online presence. So if you want to check them out, you can go to onlinepethealth.com/social to learn more. A quick word from our sponsor before we dive in. At Paw Prosper, we believe true pet well-being demands a three-pronged approach: prevention, support, and rehabilitation. Our brands are trusted by veterinarians, universities, and rehab facilities alike. Whether you're looking to train, rehabilitate, or help your patients age gracefully, our brands, Walking Pets, Help 'em Up, Response Systems, Fit Paws, Muffins Halo, Sleepy Pod, and Canine Carts offer effective, innovative, and proven solutions. You can sign up today to receive your one-time special gift for all our podcast listeners with your next order. So you can go to pawprosper.com/OPH. All right, over to my chat with Ané. Hey Ané, thank you for joining me. I am super excited to chat about this topic today.
Hi Meg, how are you?
I am great. I love anything to do with social media. You know me. So today we're going to be chatting about Reels on Instagram. And, you know, for Ané and I, Ané, you can remember, probably like 2-3 years ago, we had serious pushback from both of us. And then I embraced the videos and Reels, and Ané, I still had serious pushback from. And it's something like we love the static picture post with a little bit of a comment. For us, it was super easy. The idea of creating a reel or a video or something like that was just so overwhelming for us. And so what we've done is we've created a way that works for us. And today we want to share that way with you because we think that it can really work for you too. So we don't have time to do major edits and make these perfect, wonderful videos like
the transitions and the dancing. No.
Tried the dancing before, haven't we? We've tried it. But I've done a bit of dancing.
Did you do dancing on Dr. Meg?
Yeah, I must have been on Dr. Meg Kelly. It was so embarrassing. I remember just thinking like I got to give this a go, to see if it's going to work. And I was just literally just like crawling into myself doing it. And now I go back and I look at those videos where I had a little bit of it and I just cringe. I die. I'm like, I've got to the point now where I'm like, I know what I like to do. And even if it's a trend or something like that, I'm not going to jump on it. I'm going to do what I like to do and how I like to create reels and content.
You're so brave, Meg. You're very brave. The most I was willing to do is like when you throw something to the next person and then you have that transition. I was like, we could do that kind of thing as a team, but the dancing. So I think the biggest pushback on the reels is just that they seem to be this entertaining thing where you've got to have some form of like silliness, and that's just not who we are. So it was that discrepancy between how do we fit into the space that doesn't feel like us. But I think we've done a really good job with them in the last 2 years. It's a huge learning curve. So let's talk about what are reels and why do we want to create them, right? Where do we start with them? How has Dr. Meg used them in the last 2 years? And then we'll chat about online pet health as well.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Reel is basically a short video clip. It can be like completely edited, where you've got like different transitions, different types of like videos, one after another, or it could just be one clip. Okay, so just one short video. They can go up to like 60 seconds long. That changes all the time, guys. So that might be different now. Like Instagram and Facebook change the length of things so many times. Like I can't keep up anymore. But a reel can actually be showed on Instagram, and it is also something for Facebook. We find the reels work really well on Instagram. We don't find the reels work so well on Facebook. I think Facebook people prefer like static images, but yeah, I think it depends on your audience. So for us, in online pet health, trying to find videos of things the whole time and to show videos, it takes a long time to edit that. So if you like, let's say we had to show how to measure the thigh circumference. For us, in order to create a video like that and actually do it and edit it, and so that you can hear and the person speaking, it's actually a long time. And I think a lot of you guys are probably thinking the same. You think, I'm going to create this video and this reel, and I'm going to put it out there. And it takes so long that you're just like, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore. So Dr. Meg Kelly, I found a way, and we've actually used what I do in Dr. Meg Kelly in Online Pet Health, and it is working really well for us. I don't have time to create like reels, and every now and again, I'll create one where I'm speaking. And I'd really just do that off the cuff. And if I make a mistake, I just carry on. So those ones I find personally quite hard. But the ones that I find really, really easy is just to have a video clip, and then I just put audio over it, so I don't have speaking. For me, reels have been something that has really helped me grow my account, the Dr. Megan Kelly account. I use mainly reels and very few static images or carousels. Carousels are multiple images on one post, and a static image is just one image. And for me, the reels, and I think it's really because Instagram pushes them out so much to new audiences. So if your audience, people that follow you, are interested in the reel that you've put out. So if you put a reel out and people that follow you are watching that reel, what Instagram then does is says, okay, this is something that's interesting. I'm going to put this out to other audiences who are similar to your audience, who I think may like it. And that's how you get new followers. And I mean, I've had a few reels that have gone over 1 million views, which has been a crazy. And I really do think this depends on what niche you're in. Niches, and my niche basically is veterinary professionals. So this one was able to reach all those kind of people. So yeah, for me, reels is really something that I use to grow my account. And I think we have the same really for Online Pet Health, don't we?
Yeah, so it's actually really interesting to consider the differences between Dr. Megan Kelly and the Online Pet Health account, because you have reels that go viral and Online Pet Health doesn't, but we have a really nice consistent level of views, which I think is beneficial. So again, the reels have helped the Online Pet Health Instagram account grow, and it's been really good for engagement. It has had a lot of benefits, but it's looked different from how you've used it for Dr. Megan Kelly. And that's an important thing for us to remember, right? Is that we can't compare one account to another account and base our success or our failure on that. We need to look at what is working for the account that you're using it for your account, and adapt and grow from there. So it's really nice to have a starting point and to draw inspiration from different accounts. So I'll often go and look at what you're doing, Meg, on your account, and then I'll try and do similar things on the Online Pet Health account, using what I know about our audience that works, and then that usually works really well. Or I'll have some success and some things not so much. So it's really cool. For Online Pet Health, obviously our focus is on bringing educational content, right? So the question is, like, how do I create something educational in a reel that has some of this entertainment value that people are looking for in that short form video, that's going to keep and hold their attention and add value to their lives? And that's been the trick to play around with.
Yeah, I think one of the things you said was so important. It's like, maybe the Online Pet Health reels haven't gone viral, but do you actually ever want to go viral? And people always think they do. But going viral is not always the best thing, because, like, for example, when I got that 1.3 million or something on that one reel, not every single person was actually my ideal target audience. I had people that followed me, but actually they weren't my ideal target audience. And sometimes that can actually negatively affect your account. So when I'm teaching, obviously the Dr. Meg Kelly is all about teaching veterinary professionals how to start online businesses. I actually say to them, don't create content to go viral. You don't actually want that. You actually want how we do it on Online Pet Health, where it's consistent growth and it's actually achieving what it is, and you're actually reaching the right people. Because you can actually get seriously affected from the algorithm if you have a viral reel and suddenly all these people follow you, and then they're not actually the right people, because then the next ones that you create, they're not going to be interested. And that's where it's actually so important to stay within your niche. And people often do this, and you can get really like sucked into this when there are trends happening. So you're like, you follow a trend and you think, oh, I'm going to do this. And then people follow you because maybe they thought you were funny or they liked the reel or whatever, but it's not actually your target audience. So yeah, following those trends, you've got to be very, very careful. Always stay within your niche. Don't create content that is too far off what you should, the people you're actually trying to target, because that can really affect your algorithm and can really mess up your account. And it might look great. You've got 11,000 followers, but none of them are interested in what you do. So it really just defeats the purpose of the social media and everything you're creating now. None of them are interested in what you're doing. It looks good when you've got lots of followers, but you need the right followers.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Thank you, Meg. I love that. So what are our goals with reels? Like, are you looking for that growth? Are you looking to get people commenting and engaging? We need to look at our insights, right? We need to look at what are we measuring and how do we know if something is a success? So what are the things that we're looking at when we're creating a reel, if we're measuring if it was successful or not?
So I think when we create a post, we should always have a goal in mind. For us, we have two different types of content. We have growth content and we've got nurture content. We often in Online Pet Health have quite an overlap with those. And that's great. If you have that, that's great. But you can create content that's specifically for growth, which I do in Dr. Megan Kelly. I have growth content. I make a decision today. I'm going to create a reel that is going to grow my account. And then I say I'm going to create a reel that's going to nurture my current followers. So it's nurture content and growth content. So growth content is content that the algorithm is going to push out to new people and they're going to potentially follow you. Nurture content is content that you teach or give insights or give some value to the people that currently follow you. So when you look at your insights, you can see, is your content being pushed out to followers or non-followers? If the content that, and sometimes we don't know what type of content, how do we create growth content? How do we create nurture content? If you go into your insights and you have a look at the previous things that you've created, if you look at your insights, the ones that have more non-followers, that is growth type content. If you look in your insights and say 98% is followers, that's probably nurture content. And that's a good way to work out like your different types of content. It does take a while to work out how to create growth content, what content is going to grow, and it doesn't always work. So you might have it all waxed and you think, this is what I'm going to do. You put it out there and you think, geez, my account's going to go up by 1,000 now, something like that. You think this is the best growth content I've ever created, and then it just flops. As well as I do, Ané, like social media is so up and down. One day you think you're up and you think, yes, I've got it, and everything's happening and you're getting these views and everything, and then suddenly you're doing the same thing in the next week and it's like a flop and nothing's happening. And we try and analyze it and we try and think, oh, what's going on? And like so many things could have happened. Like the one is the algorithm has affected you. So you could have used a word that's banned, or you could have replied to too many people on some comments and you got like a shadow ban, which they call it. That means like a 24 to 48 hours where the algorithm is just not showing your content to anybody. And they don't tell you when you have this, you just sort of go to guess. And then the other thing is that content doesn't work anymore. So it's so difficult. And like, I can really appreciate for people that are not spending a lot of time on social media, like you vet rehabbers, where your main focus is your patients. Now you're suddenly coming on to do this to try and work out actually how to do it. But what I want to say is don't get too hung up on it, really. Like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, try something else and just keep going. Like eventually something will work. And it is frustrating because we do spend a lot of time, but that's why this technique that we're going to teach you now on how to create reels is really going to be like, if it doesn't work, you're going to be okay with it because you're not going to spend hours and hours and hours creating.
Yeah, I love that. Like just take everything with a pinch of salt on social media. You have to, and it's an experiment. You have to keep going between this creation and analyzing, and create and analyze, and everything is an experiment and treated as such. So I like that. So I want to share with you what has worked for the Online Pet Health page, because the creation part has been a big challenge for me. For me, it took a long time to gather all the information, create them. The trending audios was an issue. So this is my simplified method. Thank you, Meg, for sharing this with me as well. So I start with creating a spreadsheet, right? That's my step one. And that is my brain dump of having all the content, all the information that I want to use in terms of text, right? So my hooks, my captions, they all go in there, and I categorize everything. So I have educational content is one category, and then engagement and connection. Those are the three categories of reels that I want to create. And I'll divide my hooks up into those separate categories, and then making sure that I have enough content across a month in each of those categories, that I have enough educational content, enough engagement content, and then enough connection content in each category. Your hooks, I always start when I'm creating these with my text hook, but there are three hooks that you're essentially looking at. You're looking for a visual hook, which is your video, and you're looking for a text hook, which is the first words that they see on their screen, which will hold their attention. And then you're also looking for a hook in the top of your caption, right? And then I think your audio could also be considered a hook, right, Meg? Yes. Okay. So there are a few ways that you can hook your audience to stay and keep watching the reel. So I always start with that text hook because I find it's easier to work backwards from there. So I brainstorm those. Usually I go into Meg's social media. What is your template called, Meg?
Which one?
You have a I think
it's
the
Instagram blueprint.
Yes, the Instagrowth blueprint. So I actually usually go into your Instagrowth blueprint like once a month. And then I go through all the hooks that you have there, and I pick the ones that resonate with me. And then I put them into my brain dump spreadsheet, and I add captions to them. So I'll write it all out there and divide it into those three categories. And then separately to that, so now I've spent an hour or two just brain dumping everything on a sheet of paper or onto a spreadsheet, and I basically have enough content there to last 2 or 3 months because I've dumped it all on the paper. Then separately to that, I will take B-roll videos. So now I go about my day, I take videos throughout the day. Meg does the same, Nadia does the same. If there was something specific that I wanted in terms of a visual hook, then that came up for me as I put everything down into my spreadsheets. I would have had an idea of, oh, this visual would go great with that, and I'll try and film that.
Can you share exactly what B-roll is? Because some of the listeners might not know what that is.
Okay, great. Yeah, so a B-roll is a very short, I think 5 to 10-second video that shows something simple. It's just a background visual that will either capture attention, so it's something interesting that you're doing, or it will give a simple background for the text and the caption that you're creating, right? Ideally, it's something that can loop, that doesn't have a beginning or an end. That's perfect, because then it can keep going in the background of the reel. And ideally, you're getting that visual hook at the same time. So if you can have something that grabs your audience's attention, what are you doing? What are you up to in that video? Then that's perfect. Yeah. Is there something else about the B-rolls, Meg, that I missed?
Yeah, it's literally things that you're doing every day. So for you guys, you would just put a camera up on a little stand and would film you treating a dog, or getting the dog in the treadmill or out the treadmill, or drying the dog. It's literally just videos of what you do every day. And you might think, oh, why would somebody want to watch that? People love watching that stuff. They love watching what we do every single day. And I mean, even for me, sometimes it would just be me sitting at my computer, but what they want to know is like, what does my office look like? What does my view look like? So the B-roll is nothing like you actually like purposely doing something. Just film yourself doing things. And I mean, in the like online money space, I mean, it's as crazy as just holding a teacup and stirring the tea. That's what people do, and it's crazy. They get like 1 million views, and I'm like, seriously? There's one girl, actually, she's got like 4 million followers or something absolutely crazy. And she literally is the master of stirring tea. And she's always just stirring her tea. And she'll stir her tea all around her house, like in loads of different places, in a chair, in a bed, and everywhere. Anyway, and then the other day she was stirring her tea, and her cup was like slightly tilted forward, so you could see there was no tea inside there. And the comments was like, you don't have any tea in there. What are you stirring? And everyone was just going on and on and on. And that was the first thing I thought, you're not actually drinking tea. You're just pretending to drink tea. But we do that, don't we? We pretend to do something sometimes for social media.
Yeah. So what you could do is actually just one day a month assign a member of your team to take videos of the rest of the team, right? One day a month, take B-roll videos. You're going to take short videos. You're going to have a new dog come in. As the dog gets out of the car, they're going to take a video. As the dog signs in at reception, or the owner comes in and everyone says hi and welcomes them, take a little video. As you sit down on your mat in your treatment room, they take a little video. Zoom in on doing a stifle, flexion and extension, range of motion, and then zoom out again, and there you have a little video. Palpate the back, and there you have a B-roll video. When the dog turns and gives you a little lick, they're taking a video of that. So just one day a month, one member of the team takes videos for the whole day. And again, you've taken more videos that you're going to use in a 1 or 2 month period of creating reels.
One thing to remember is when this person in your clinic is taking the videos, when we create reels, we create them in portrait, not in landscape. So that means, guys, that your phone must be straight up, like you would hold it. Do you know, if you turn it on the side and the screen is much longer, that's landscape. If it's up and you've got a down kind of, I don't know how to explain portrait, but yeah. So yeah, but basically how you would look at your phone, like if you're on your phone, that is portrait. When you turn it to the side, then it's landscape. So it's very important that all the reels are in portrait, because that's how they're viewed on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes. This is the new way to take videos, no longer in landscape. So that, yeah, thanks, Meg. Because I actually have conversations with people regularly, and then they say to me, oh, I have to take all the videos in landscape. And I'm like, what are you doing? You need to turn your camera the other way. So, okay, so now you have spent 2 hours creating hooks and captions, and they're all in a spreadsheet, and you've put it aside and they're there. But they're in the back of your mind, and you're aware of them. And then a member of your team has spent a day taking videos, right? And whoever that member is, it doesn't matter. They just need to be halfway decent at playing with the camera. Now you have some B-roll videos and you have some captions. The next step is to collect trending audios, Meg, and this is your department. So how do you find a trending audio, and why? Do you need to find trending audios? Is it even necessary?
So you don't have to, but it can help with the algorithm pushing your content out. So when you use a training audio, and we've really seen it with Online Pet Health, I mean, we've done it where we've just used audios which we like compared to ones that have training audios, and we definitely have higher reach in the ones with the training audios. So I would recommend that you try it, but don't like spend hours and hours trying to find training audios. If you don't have time, just use any audio, like just get something out there. So depending on where you are in the world, training audios in most countries, not in South Africa. So there are a few countries, South Africa is one of them, which we don't have this, and I don't know why. So when you look at a reel, if you look at the very right-hand bottom, there is a little square, and it sort of like vibrates with the music. And that's actually what the audio is. And if you push on that, what happens is the audio actually comes up on the screen, and it'll be an image of whatever the audio is. There'll be some writing as to what the audio is. And then there's a little button that says use audio. And then below it actually looks like a feed, which is all the people that have actually used that audio and how they've used it and how many views they've got. Right. So if you're in a country, which most countries have this, I think a lot of European countries and definitely in the States, if you look at that screen, there'll be a little arrow that is going up if it's a trending audio. Then you know it's trending. So for us in South Africa, I don't know why we don't have the arrow, so we have to make a plan to work it out. But this is also good for you guys to be able to have an additional way to make sure that it is a trending audio. So what you look at is the number of times that audio has been used, and that will be there right at the top. And you want it to be less than 10,000. If more than 10,000 people have used that audio already, move on to another one. And the way that you find them is literally just scrolling through your feed and pushing on and listen to the audio, and you think, I like that, click on it and go and have a look. So don't use an audio you don't like. It has to be something that you like. Once you've seen there that it's less than 10,000, then you're going to go down to the feed, and you want to look at the first 3, and you want to make sure that one of those has more than 1 million views. If it does, you can use that audio. And what I do then is if I find an audio like that, and I do it just while I'm scrolling, then what I'll do at the right hand of the top of your screen on Instagram, there are 3 little dots. If you click that, you can copy the link to the audio. And then I actually go into my WhatsApp. So I don't know if you guys know this, you can actually WhatsApp yourself. So I use WhatsApp for myself to like send me things. And somebody actually gave me this great tip the other day, is to create groups. So let's say I want to create trending audio group. I will put my husband on it, the group, start with him and me, and then I'll name it trending audios, and then I'll remove him off the group. So it's just me. So then I have a group that is training audio. So every time I want to say something, I'll just go into that. So you can actually file some things in WhatsApp. I'm sure there are easier ways. I like it because then I can forward them straight onto Ané. So I put it in WhatsApp. It's easier for me then to just forward that exactly to Ané, and then she can use them too. And then what you'll do is you'll use that audio at a later stage. Obviously, if it's trending now, doesn't mean that it's trending in a month's time. So you do want to use audios, but don't get too fixated on the training audios. Like, just use it. Even if you're using it in 3 weeks' time, it was trending, it might still be trending. Don't get too fixated on that, but it can help your reach a little bit.
I like that. So we're going to look for training audios but I'm still scheduling the content ahead of time. I'm bulk creating and bulk scheduling. So I'm not doing it on a daily basis. Now, the trick to actually doing this in the shortest space of time is that you are creating them in Instagram on your phone. Okay. So all of this content, everything that you're collecting should be accessible on your phone. So the B-rolls that you filmed, they're going to go in a little file on your phone in your albums, right? You have a little B-roll album on your phone. The trending audios are on WhatsApp. It's on my phone, so I can just grab them and go into Instagram. Okay, so now we have our captions, our hooks, and our captions. We have a file of B-roll films. We have trending audios. Now we schedule time to create and schedule those, right? So I'll usually sit with my calendar with me, so my social media calendar, and when I want things to be released, so that I can have a good balance of when I'm scheduling the different kinds of content. So I want to schedule engagement and connection content towards the end of the week and educational content towards the beginning of the week. And I want to make sure that there's a consistent, I'm consistently releasing reels throughout the week. And this is part of the creation process. So I'll start with the trending audios. You use the audio, then you grab your video from your folder, then you add your captions, and then you schedule it in Instagram. And it's as quick as that. If you're scheduling it across multiple platforms, then you want to download that reel as you create it and save it onto your phone, and then you can schedule it onto the next platform. Again, I use Hootsuite to schedule onto different platforms, and I have that on my phone for this reason, so that I can take that in the same moment. I schedule it to one platform, and then immediately I'm in Hootsuite and I schedule it onto the other platforms at the same time. And that way, it's pretty quick, it's pretty simple. The steps are divided onto different days. You're doing different parts of the creation at different time points, but you're scheduling weeks in advance.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to share is you might have seen, if you're on Instagram and Facebook, when you're on Instagram and you share a reel, there is a toggle to share to Facebook too. You can do that if you are posting in real time. If you're not posting in real time, if you schedule, it doesn't go. Is that right? Because we had this, remember we were chatting about.
No, it does go. No, it
does
does
go now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if your Facebook and your Instagram accounts are connected, it'll post to both platforms.
Even if it's scheduled.
Even if it's scheduled, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
If you have multiple pages, or you have different audiences, or you want to schedule to TikTok, other platforms, then you need to do, the additional step through Hootsuite. So yeah, it does go to both places if you're scheduling it.
Yep.
Okay, and then you need to obviously monitor them as they come out, and the point is to engage and be present on social media. So you're going to be engaging, and as they come out, you're going to see how each reel performs. You're going to see, you're going to think about it. You're going to say, well, was it a good hook? Was it a good visual? Did the video work? Did the audio work? We don't worry for myself, I don't worry too much about the audio, because it's not something you're going to use again. It's a one and done kind of thing, but your captions, your videos, your hooks, they're all things you can keep using, right? So once you have that spreadsheet, it's essentially evergreen, and you can continue to use the content in new and different ways month after month. You just have to keep being creative.
Yeah, and don't be scared to actually create the same content over again. So if you have a reel that does really well, you can literally take that hook and you can put it with a different B-roll, or you can take the same B-roll that was there and put another hook on there. You can use the same content over again. And we always think like, I've already posted that. But there are new people looking at your content all the time. So it's okay to keep sharing the same things. And sometimes it's crazy. We'll share something, and we've really seen this on Facebook many times. We'll repeat something, and the first time we shared it, it was okay. Then we'll share it the second time, and it goes crazy. So many shares, so many comments. And so it's like the algorithm will send it out at different times. Like, there's so many things that affect the algorithm. So don't be scared to share the content again. Obviously, if it tanks completely, don't share it. There's maybe a reason it has, but sometimes it could have actually been good content and there were just a few things that were affecting it. But the general rule is content that does well and is you are getting some engagement, try share again and see what happens.
I like that. And the content that doesn't do well, I'll often sit with that and think, but why? It was a really good hook. It was really good information. Potentially the reel wasn't the best format for it. And so what I do now is I take that spreadsheet and I say, I think this content would be more appropriate with a static image or a carousel. And then I try it in that format. Same content, but different format. So I know we're chatting about reels, but at the end of the day, we want to have a good social media strategy that incorporates all the different kinds of posts. And you're probably posting images and carousels and reels. So this is how I do that. I'll then play around with trying the same content. If it didn't work as a reel, I'll try it in a different format, or I might decide to do something different on Facebook versus Instagram because they do respond really differently. Facebook doesn't seem to like the reels and Instagram loves them. And sometimes Instagram doesn't like my images, but Facebook loves them. So play around with them, experiment and have fun with it, and take everything as an experiment. It's just something that you try and see how it works. And it's not about succeeding or failing. It's just about showing up consistently and continuing to do the things that work and improving on them month after month.
Cool. So before we finish, thought we could just chat about the anatomy of a good reel.
Yeah.
We always got to bring in some, like,
some anatomy,
veterinary term or something into these kind of things. Amazing how we can like change social media and just bring something veterinary term in. So basically there are a few things that you really have to have, and we've chatted about the hooks. So the hook is basically what's going to stop people from scrolling. So if you think about it, we're just trying to get attention, and that can be something that they're seeing in the video or the B-roll that you've got. But most of the time, I think it's actually the text on screen. As Ané says, I have a whole lot of examples of different hooks, text hooks that you can use. And I've actually just recently updated that Insta Growth Blueprint. And I've actually divided it into growth content and nurture content. So I've given you examples of hooks that you can use for growth content and hooks that you can use for nurture content. And because that's where a lot of people were really, really struggling. So, but you want something that they're gonna read and they're gonna think that is for me. All right. So you got to think about who your ideal target audience is and write something there that is going to capture them. They're going to be like, I need to know more about this. And then you don't have to put loads of information on the screen. You just need like one little sentence. And then what you can do is make another little line that says see caption for more. And then in the caption, you can write more details, whatever you want to explain. So let's say you're explaining conservative management of hip dysplasia, for example, then you can go through and you can write a whole lot of information there in the caption. And when you're in the caption, what you want to do is not write the text so that it's like one big paragraph. You want to space it out so that it's really easy on the eye, really easy to use. You can use a few emojis, few little fingers to like make some points or like numbers, but make it so that it's really easy to read. And then at the very first line of that caption also should be some type of hook that makes them want to continue reading, because when they first see the reel on Instagram, they actually can read the first line. So they can see the reel, they read whatever's on the screen, and they can read the first line of the caption. And then it says see more, and they click on that. Now, one of the reasons we do 5 to 8 seconds of B-roll, and I prefer like 5 seconds, I like the shorter ones, is when they are looking at that video, that B-roll and the reel, they'll click on it when they want to read more. And as they're reading the caption, what's happening in the background is that B-roll is continually looping. And so it's telling the algorithm, people are really interested in this. This person likes my content. And then it says, okay, I'm going to put it out to other people. And if they are interested in reading the writing too, the same thing is happening. And that's how the algorithm spreads it to more and more people. So what people tend to do is do quite long captions. You don't want to write for the sake of writing, right, guys? Like, you don't want to just put a whole lot of information. It must be really interesting and must be like capturing them. But the longer the caption is, the more the video is actually looping. And then at the end of it, what you want to do is what's called a call to action. And this can be anything from asking them to comment, like literally, like, what is your experience with this? Do you have a dog with hip dysplasia that you've treated conservatively or whatever? Do you know, like, and sometimes it can be, you can comment to get something. So like, let's say you created a conservative management hip dysplasia checklist, and like, just off the top of my head now, you've created a little checklist of all the things that they should be doing. You can say comment hip dysplasia or comment hip, and I'll send it to you. You can do this manually. So there's a way, if somebody comments, you go in there, you can reply to them personally, and you can send them a link to it. You can send them a link to the Google form, or you could send them to a place where they have to put their name and email address. So you can get them as what we call a lead. But then there's also other softwares, and I'm not going to go into detail about this, but I just wanted you to know this, because you might be wondering, how do people always do this when they have all these thousands of comments and people are commenting hip? And how is it all this? How do they keep doing that? Just commenting and keeping up to date with it. But there is a software called ManyChat that literally will automate it for you. So if you're signed up to ManyChat, what you can do is you can set up a rule that if somebody comments a certain word, hip, then you private message them this, and you can say, thanks for saying the comment, here's the link to get the download. And it all happens automatically without you. So we at Onlinepethealth are all very much for not having to be loads and loads of comments. And sometimes when you're commenting lots and you're saying the same thing over again, Instagram shadow bans you because they think you're spamming people. So you got to be very careful with that. But that is, if you guys want more information on all of this, I'll put the link to my Insta Growth Blueprint in the description, and you can go and check that out.
Perfect. Thank you, Meg. That was really interesting. The reels have been a learning curve, but they are fun.
They are. And when you get one right, isn't it such a great feeling?
It's very awesome.
Like, yes.
And when you then like get them right consistently, and more and more of them do well, it's really rewarding. Oh, what I wanted to add is, now that you have your spreadsheet, right, as you go through your day and your week and your month, someone says something funny or interesting and you think, yes, I want to use that next time I create a reel, it goes in the spreadsheet. And all you have to do is write that hook in there. And then when the time comes for you to sit down with your spreadsheet again and update it and add some new things, then you add in the rest of the information, you create the caption, etc. But it gives you a good place to just brain dump the good ideas through the course of the month. You don't have to act on them immediately. You don't have to create something right there and then. You just put it on the spreadsheet and you'll remember when it's time to go into that creation mode, right? Because that's blocking out the time to do the one thing helps. It makes it much, much easier.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've shared with you now the way in which we create it, which is more batched, more planned. There is obviously just the ad hoc, just to create them as you go. And you guys, if you don't have time or you don't think that you're capable of doing it like batch like we do, you can also just right away film a quick B-roll, use one of the hooks or write something in there and post it. You can do that too. So you don't have to do it this way. It is just a better way to be more consistent. But I'll say, for example, with Dr. Megan Kelly, I like to be able to do this, but I don't always do it. And often they're just ad hoc posts. And especially when I'm under pressure and I'm just like, I don't have the capacity to schedule, then I'll just do some ad hoc posts. So just find what works for you guys. That's what you got to do. And you don't have to post every single day, just like once or twice a week. Just whatever you do, just be consistent with it and keep posting.
Perfect. Thank you, Meg.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ané. Guys, if you are creating reels, I would love you guys to tag at Online Pet Health. We can then find you on Instagram, we can follow you, and we can share your reel and we can comment on it. So we'll be your first person to help with the algorithm. So if you've listened to this and it's inspired you to go and create reels, please tag us at Online Pet Health, and yeah, we'll be your biggest supporter.
Your number one cheerleader.
Exactly.
Have a great day, guys.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. I'm here every week talking to vet rehab therapists from all over the world about all things vet rehab. A big thanks to our sponsor, Paw Prosper. Their sponsorship allows us to be able to give this podcast to you for free, so please go and check them out at pawprosper.com. Don't forget to bookmark the next Vet Rehab Summit on Saturday, the 8th of November, 2025. Come and be a part of the world's largest online veterinary rehabilitation conference created specifically for you, the vet rehabber community. Online Pet Health members get VIP complimentary access to the Vet Rehab Summit. For more information about continuing education for vet rehabbers, you can go to onlinepethealth.com.